All right, good morning everybody. I know I said I wasn't going to come back, but I just wanted to come back and just show you this last one. I do promise this is the last one I'm going to do. I decorated them. I'll photograph all these. I did end up decorating the 3 of them in the end, but I just wanted to, I wanted to see if this was going to work. But I also wanted to come back and show you because actually I think this is going to be this is going to be good. Right, we're working with acetate today, and it's going to be difficult for you to see the acetate. Let's get you a clear background. Right, you can see that much better. So I've cut the ends out, and I've used my little nut piece to go into the acetate, okay? Now, I have had to use a craft knife to just cut round to persuade that out. Because if when you work with acetate, it's not the easiest of materials to actually work with. So I've gone with my craft knife and I've taken out the inside. Now you can see you get the indentation of the circle around the, this is just coming out, I can still see. You get the indentation of the circle that goes onto the acetate, but believe me, that's not going anywhere, okay? It's not going anywhere at all. So I'm pretty confident that you can leave it like this. Anybody who works with acetate will know you have to cut it out. You really do have to cut it out. And this is 300 microns. So I am confident that that is going to stay exactly where it is. So I'm going to have a go. Let's see if this is going to work. I'm going to see if I can, let's see if I can work on this, because otherwise it's going to be, is that better? I think visually that may be better for you to see. Now, this is tough, okay? This is really tough acetate. Very, very hard. I don't know how this is going to work. I have used acetate in the past, and believe me, it isn't the easiest of materials, especially when it comes to the sticking of it. Okay, and I don't know, because this is we're using this as a tombola, right? We do need this. I'm really being slow and cautious with this one as I'm sticking it down. You're going to see your joins of tape. You cannot get away from that. Do you know what? Oh my God, this might be a bit of a bone folder. Let's try that. Do you know what? I must invest in a proper bone folder. I was watching Crafty Christine the other day, and she had this lovely bone folder. I think it was a Tonic one. It was like a Teflon one. I must invest in one. Right. So you're going to see the joins at the end. So we've got to really be mindful of our tape, of how it's looking. You see, I'm thinking, you're going to have to cut that really neatly. But what I'm trying to say is, with this 300 micron, acetate is, you know, I haven't had any problems. I will be honest. I've used acetate, and I don't know if you've ever seen, I made a crystal mirror with the hexagon dies a long time ago. I'll tell you what, I've got it here. I'll show you. Now, funny enough, I had problems with the backing coming off of the sticking the card to the acetate, but it's never fallen off. The acetate has never fallen off since I made those. Oh, should have folded this first. Silly me. Come on now. Do you see what I mean? This is very heavy. You're going to have to make it heavy as well, because if you want to use your bingo balls in there, and do you remember I said there's a lot of weight? You are going to have to make it, you're going to have to use a heavy one. Can't use a thin one with this. So let's just see, I'm quite excited, but I wanted to come back. Listen, I do my crafting. Generally, I get up in the morning and I do a bit of crafting in the morning. That's my crafty time. Oh, I've taken the wrong one, have I? No, I haven't. That's my crafty time. So I think to myself sometimes, well, I might as well come online anyway and show you. You know, you don't have to watch it. You know, you've seen it now, so you know what you're doing. But I just sometimes think, oh well, I might as well do it on camera. Might as well come on. So I'm just making sure I'm not going over any lines. I'm being quite quiet today. It's the first time you can hear me shut up. Oh, I've got a little tiny. I'm really trying to be very, very. I'm trying to get this completely right. I don't want to get this one wrong today, because you really can't. You've got to be very careful, like I say with acetate. Must stick it on. But I am dying to see this, because yes, the inner workings, I think sometimes, let me just take a gulp. Excuse me, the inner workings, the spindle is such a lovely, it really is such a lovely piece. It does deserve to be shown, especially in this instance. I hope I am saying your name. I hope it was Mary. And when Mary said about acetate, you know, it had crossed my mind, and I thought, oh, I've got to give it a go. Let's just give it a go and see what it looks like. But the spindle inside is, it will be lovely to show it off. And do you see what I'm saying with this? You can then, now your spindle is becoming part of the feature. Yeah, you see, that's the only thing that with acetate boxes is seeing the tape. It's not a problem. It really isn't a problem, okay? I just am very finicky. I'm very, very finicky. Now, I did cut these. I did cut two ends, you can see, because I was going to use the two of those on the two ends, because you remember what we were saying to you about not switching over materials. It's very, very, very important that you use the same 300, whatever it is you're using, all the way through. So there is scope. If you didn't want to do it all, I'm just testing this out. There is scope for you to put this on to there instead. So you've got lovely grey edges. Do you see what I mean? Instead of having that all open, you know, all acetate, you can have two grey instead, which would actually look really nice. It would. I personally think it would add to the feature even more. Right, concentrate. Yes, in my opinion, it would add to the feature more. Make it look really nice. And because you know, if you're using the same colour through the spindle, I'm going to cut that piece there. I think I've just overcompensated on my tape. Then it would, you know, it would look nice, and it may well be that you might have to do it that way anyway. We'll see after I put this together. Now I've left these ends on this time. I didn't cut them off, just in case we have to. I know, sorry, I'm going at a snail's pace on this one. I do apologise, but I really want to get this. There's not really a lot of room for mistakes on this one. Okay, there really isn't. This has really got to be spot on, I'm afraid. So I'm just, and again, you know, I come online and it's always the first one I do. Never change. Right, actually this is sticking together quite nicely. It's really sticking together very, very nicely, I've got to say. Right, that is now the box on. Okay, that's pretty much the box on. Now I'm leaving those side bits on this time, okay, because it may well be that those side bits are going to actually help. Well, we didn't put the spindle on, but it doesn't matter, we can do that now, because do you remember we should have put the spindle on first, shouldn't we, before we went in, but we can still put it on, that's not a problem. So let's just see. It should go in nicely. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Okay, so it's fine doing it this way. Let's just see, I should be able to get this off in one piece. Yes, okay. just open that bit out so that I can get to it. I should have done that first, shouldn't I? Now I've got to bring this just a little bit down. Okay, so remember on these ones, you're doing it where it meets. This is where it might be. It's either gonna go on okay. I just got to, you must make sure that the tabs do meet. You're not pushing it up any further. Now, do you see what happened there? This is why I think this is going to work. Funny enough, just because of the way this is cut, do you see that's pushed out? Right, let me just really get that on. I'm going to show you what it is in a minute. I noticed it as I was cutting it yesterday, and this is the exact reason why I've done this. Now, I'm thinking we may have to go in. I don't know if the glue is going to work here. But can you see that pushes out? Right, let me just, I can't see myself. There we go. Can you see? Can you see that? That's perfect. It pushes out, and that's what you want, because we want 2 mils to push out on this side and 2 mils to push out on the other side. I'm just thinking that we might have to wait for this to dry now I'm doing it. So let's just push that back in. And let's see. This is going to be a struggle now, isn't it, with the top bit, because we've got to get this on again. Oh, we're popping in and out. That's good though. That's a good thing. Right. Okay. Now let's see. Let's just straighten this up again. Again, remember what I told you. Working with acetate is not the easiest of materials. Let's just pull that. That's just a little bit. Pulling that out. I'm just giving this top a bit of persuasion. Right, let's see if this is going to work. Okay. Now, I want the piece that's pushing up. You've got 2 bits. Can you see where that is going thick? You want the bit that's pushed up to go, that you can feel it. You can feel it. Okay. This is always the struggle, this bit out. Because, let's have a look. This might turn out, in fact I'm going to have to bring that all the way around. This may turn out, it may turn out that you might have to measure that a lot better. I'm just thinking on the end, because this is going to be a struggle. This is not going to be easy. I mean, I've been pretty honest with you from the get-go, and said to you that working with acetate, it's not the easiest of materials, especially for 300 micron. Okay, so this is not an easy process, right? So I'm going to bring them all up. Okay, I think that is the best thing to do in this case. Now let's open this. That's where our door's going to be, and let's get our I'm really concentrating today, aren't I? I'm just talking. Oh, come on, red tape. Come on. Come off. Not playing ball, are you today? Ah, there we go. We're nearly there. Off you come. Right, there we go. Okay, so same on this end. We're bringing it down. Right, making sure we're not going over any, we're sticking to the line, we're sticking to the score line where the tabs should come down. You just see what I mean? We're meeting that score line and we're not changing that. Ooh. Right, this is where you really do, that's where you're going to have to make sure it's stuck down very, very well. Now let's see if this is going to fit on. This is where this is going to be the struggle. It's not going to be as easy with acetate as it is with, in fact, let's do 2 at a time. Let's do 2 at a time with card. Right? It's not. So let's give this suppose. Come on, let's push this down. I think that's making it a bit difficult, isn't it? Right, I think with this one, you have to make sure it is completely straight at both ends. Otherwise, for sure, you're going to struggle with this. So this is why I wanted to come on to do this on camera, to see if this really was going to work or not. Right, it is going in. Okay, I'm doing 2 at a time, right? 2 at a time. You know, this is a bit of a struggle, but I do think the results of this one at the end are just going to be worth the struggle. Okay, remember, this is not the pot itself, but the tub itself. It is the material you're working with, and plus we're going back to the old way with this one, because we're wanting to see this lovely inner working of the Tombola. We're wanting to see the spindle. Okay, now are you? Now let's see if this is going to sort itself out. You are going to have to give it a bit of a jig, a bit of a jig about. This is actually better, yes, because we've got that. Now let's just fold this. This is why I kept these on there. Come on. This is why I kept the sides on there, because I've just got to bend this back, everyone, because we bent it the other way, right? Okay, it does. I think this is going to work fine, right? Can you see that? I've got this awful, let me just see if I can get this out of my screen. It won't, that's just, sorry, I've got something on my screen now that will not go away, and it's can you see that though? Look, do you see what I mean? You've got this lovely spindle inside. Now, I think we did we put 2 on, and that was our 3rd. So I'm just thinking, what's going to be your best friend here? I actually think in this instance, that red tape is going to be your best friend. I think red tape, okay, and I think maybe a smidgen of glue. This is going to be quite difficult now, isn't it? I haven't banked on that, but I'm just looking at it as it is. I think you're going to need, I think, put a bit of both on at this stage. So a little bit of tape, maybe more towards the outer, right? And then try and get glue onto the middle part. This is actually going to be quite important for making sure that it's going to adhere to this. I really do think you need to convert to your red tape, okay? And glue needs to go. This is going to give you double the strength, as it were, double the strength. I think we need to make sure that the glue is going here, right? Because you see we have got a little bit of a lift on one of them. You must make sure these are stuck down. They will be, don't worry, they will be. I think nice bit of glue on these. Do you see, just on the tabs before you put your nut over it, okay? And then, and then you've got your double. I'm just making sure you really do need to make sure that you get that around, you know, because you've got the the cut out bit, excuse me, just here. You need to make sure that's covered, right? So really this has to be stuck down, okay? That's why I'm saying red tape on that bottom one. This one doesn't matter, okay, the top one, because we're putting 2 on, aren't we? The end is one we're compensating as one of our nuts, and then this is the 2 nuts that go on the top, and you get 2 on each end, don't you? We're going back to the original, so it doesn't matter if you use glue for that top one. But for this one, most definitely convert back to getting some tape around the edge, you know, these bits. I'm doing this as we're doing it. I don't want this to end up being a massive tutorial either. We're nearly done actually, because I've done everything else today. You'll be happy to know everything else is done. But I do genuinely think you're going to need, I mean, you can get in there. I will get in there in a minute, open the door. I'm trying to put a little bit of tape and just leaving some room. Do you see what I mean? Just in these inner bits, because just it would be nice to have glue on the card to card part. So card to card part, you need the glue, but acetate to card, you're going to need red tape, because you want that. And really do go in with your bone folders. You really probably going to need something strong to go in there. You can't use knives and stuff, because you're going to scratch the acetate. You don't want to scratch the acetate. These are the bits. Do you see here? Just get some glue on those. That's where you want them. And I'm just sorry, I'm just going to tilt this. I'm trying to centralise this, because you remember what I said on one of the ends, it's tricky to stick down. Remember what I said originally? But I said make sure, whatever happens, make sure it is stuck down on these bits, because as long as it's stuck down on those bits, you'll be fine. But just, you're really going to have to give that a bit of persuasion. This is just literally because we are working on 2 different materials. We are working with card on acetate, and when you've got a little bend like we have, the little pull on it, that's what's affecting it. Okay, it's going to work. I'm very confident that this is going to work, but we have got that pull on that end, so it is very important that we make sure that's stuck. So you would go in there, and this is where you really need to make sure that it's neat. Now I can see a little difference. I can, you know how finicky I am. I don't know if you can see it here. I'm so sorry. I can't see. Let's just see if I can touch that. That's better. I can see now. You're really going to have to make sure that's straight. Now, me being a bit finicky, that is a little bit wonky inside. I don't know if you can see that on camera. Does it help if I move that out the way? No, it doesn't really. You can see it better when I put the glue underneath it. It's a little bit wonky in here. So these measurements here are going to have to be perfection when you're doing this. Right, I'm going to, I've set my side pieces up already, because I thought, oh, you don't need to see me doing that for a 3rd time, because I think you saw me twice doing it, or did you see me? You probably saw me 3 times doing it actually, and I thought, no, you don't need to see me do that again. So I've just come in and I've done these already. If you are watching for the first time, there are 3 other tutorials of me putting this together. Okay, there's 3 different ways. This is actually the 4th, because this is showing you how to, well, this is not the 4th, no, this is just showing you how to use acetate with it, that's all. But the first, there are 3 ways. Oh, excuse me, sorry, you can hear my son. He's in bed. His bed is up against the wall, so it's banging on the wall. I do apologise. So there we go. Right. Let me just pop that there. So it does work, but how pretty does that look? I can't put it on there yet. I can't put it on there as yet, because it's wet. But how pretty. Now once we've got our balls, I will give you a little tombola, you know, once we've got our balls in there, you know, you can see that that's going to fit perfectly. I can't, let's just pop it on, let's just rest it on the top so you can just sort of see that. But can you see, once you've got your the balls, it will go in, so it's sitting on there because it's not going in properly because I've not got it. This one's going in quite nicely actually. It's this side. I really don't want to try it. No, I'm not going to. I'm going to wait till it's dry. But you can see, okay? And then once you've got your balls in there, actually, how pretty does that look? Once you've got your decoration on here, I will go away and decorate it or photograph it. But how pretty does that look? That looks so pretty. And once you've got your balls, I'm dying to put them in there. Should I just put them in there? This actually sits quite well. Again, you would have to. Let me just open this up. I'm just going to get some balls out so you can just see those in there. And when I photograph it, I will photograph it. Oh, we're gonna have to give that a nice clean. It's gonna have sticky fingers on it. It's not sticky fingers. I can't. I don't want to make too much of a noise. My son's still in bed, so I will. But just to show you. See? So that's going to go round. Sorry, my ends aren't wet, but you see, when that goes on, that's going to spin round, no trouble. You might, again, I would always recommend with these ones putting a little lock on the front of it. But I think if you're using a very, very heavy 300 micron, that's what you need for this. I'm not putting too much weight in this one at the minute because it's still wet at the handles, but I will photograph it with all the balls in so you can see them going round. But use a very heavy micron. This is 300 microns. Don't do it with anything less than that. You need it for the weight of the balls. So I will photograph that. Yes, it does work. Two main concerns with it, doing it this way, the ends have to be absolutely centralised. You can't get them wrong. I'm not going to lie, I've got a little bit of a wonky inside. One is slightly up, one is slightly sitting further up than this one, and that's because I eyeballed it and didn't measure it correctly to within an inch of its life, which I should have. So those are the two things I'd point out. Ends have to be centralised. You have to do it this way to be able to get that through. But look how pretty that looks with that spindle in there. And once it's dry and it's sat on your, you know, on its little plinth, that is going to look lovely. I mean, that's going to look like a real, you can see, that's going to look like a real tombola. Okay, I promise that's it. That really is the last one. So go away, have fun. I'm dying to see what you make, and I promise that's it. My next one now, I'm going to do a bit of tidying up and sorting out. My next one now is going to be the Ferris wheel. So I'm going to start cutting bits out for the Ferris wheel. Again, using, I'll say it one more time in case you haven't watched the other tutorials. We're going to be using the chai caddy, the rotating memoirs, and the which one are we using? I think I had it out yesterday, didn't I? Yes, I had it out to have a look at the dies in the set. It is the floral Favour Octagon layering die set. If you can get hold of it, I did see one on eBay yesterday. Funnily enough, I was having a look for something else and I saw one on there. So I think possibly you can't get them anymore. So yes, but thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next tutorial where we'll be doing the Ferris wheel. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.